Hello everyone. Today we are going to see an incredible game played by Aronian against Harikrshna of India. Harikrshna belongs to India. This was played in Sportacord, which will be played in China. This was played in 2014, December 2014. Okay, so let's have a look at the game. Now Harikrshna with the black pieces started with symmetrical English. So Aronian likes to play many flank openings, c4, knight f3, g3. Mainly d4, c4, knight f3. e4 he plays rarely. So knight f3, knight f6. Now he goes for the move pawn to c4. Just okay. Now e6. Harikrshna wants to play a type of Catalan. Now g3. D5 is the main Catalan approach, but I don't know why he changed his mind and played the pawn to b6. This is known as the hedgehog defense, English hedgehog. This is a variant in symmetrical English, but even c5 is not played, it will be played now. It will convert. So bishop b7, castles, now c5. It converted into a symmetrical hedgehog, and this position we see various types of ideas applied. Now, the main moves in these positions: knight c3, bishop b7, d4 takes with the queen, like probably, or you can also go for more. You can also go for more d4 immediately. After c d4, queen d4, because knight d4, then bishop g2, king g2. The position is okay. Something like this. Now queen c8 could be played, hitting this, and after b3, queen b7. Check. So many people play this, and knight c6 is not the recommended move in this position. D6 is the best move. After which ideas like this, knight c3, castles, rook d1, and queen f4 come. Very powerful, very strategical ideas. If knight c6 in this position, then instantly queen f4, preparing rook d1. For example, this knight c3, castles, rook d1. I think white is having a good position. White is enjoying a really good space advantage. The bishop on b7 is challenged by the bishop on g2. So instead, white plays. So instead, black plays such type of things. But in this game, Aronian chose the move knight to c3. There are also specific ideas for it. If move bishop e7 in this position, then I think if bishop e7, then I think the move rook e1 will be played. Reason to play is e4. E4 is the move. But in this game, Harikrshna played the move knight to c6, which allows e4 instantly. After e4, he went for the move bishop to e7, a very solid move. In this position, there are many types of many lines in this position. For example, the machine recommends the move pawn to e5 in this position, giving up the d5 square. If the knight sits on d5, it's okay. Now, I think this knight, not now, not immediately, but it's okay. And if knight takes e4, a blunder, then rook e1, we would simply lose. Like this is possible something. We will lose. So knight takes e4 could not be played. After e5, knight d5. I think white can play more d6, something like this. Rook e1, knight d4. So now black is preparing the move bishop takes d5. So in close, always remember the principle. In close positions, knights are better than bishops, because close positions bishops are blocked by the pawns, but knights can jump into outposts like the one on d4 and like the one on d5. So e4, bishop e7. In this position, e5 is possible move. Aronian played the pawn to d4. e5 is a possible move. After e5, knight g4 is the only move, only square for the knight, because g8 you don't want to go there. And h3 is a very, it's okay move, a good move, because now knight h6 is forced. Knight takes, this is not possible. because knight takes e5, and after knight takes e5, bishop is hanging on b7. So knight h6. Now the knight will come to d5 and f5, and from f5 it will travel to d4. I think this position, I think position black has equalized in this position. Even if he wants to occupy something like this, maybe dc5, bishop c5, knight e4, bishop e7, knight d6 is not possible because something like, okay, knight d6, okay, okay, bishop takes d6, takes queen f6, so queen b8, hitting this pawn is okay. So after knight g4, if rook e1, then black can play the move pawn to h5, a really a very active move, preparing the move pawn to h4. In Fianchetto systems, you really attack with h5 and h4. So, oh, after c5, knight c6, e4, bishop e7, Aronian plays the move pawn to d4, avoids the move pawn to e5, which we have just looked at. d4, cd4 is the main move, otherwise d5 is coming. So cd4, knight d4, and in this position, I thought something like queen c7 or queen c8, but knight takes, queen takes, and still in this position. I thought a6 or rook c8, but I don't. He played the move bishop c5, moving the bishop once again and attacking the queen. Really, a really good move in this position. We see the idea. Basically, it seems like white is better, but he is not. He has these two pawns, which are big asset for him, space advantage, but that now black has counterplay, and I think the best move for black is not castles in this position. Harikrshna showed a tremendous example how to handle this position. He played the move pawn to e5, giving up, handing over the d5 square, but getting the control of this d4 square. A really important idea in this position. If the move knight to g4 is played in this position, preparing this, then queen to e2, something like this could be played h5 and now knight to f4. Maybe this is the reason why he avoided knight f4, bishop e7, f3, knight f6, once again f4. I think, okay, I know who is better, but h4 is a possible idea. Queen c7, b3, h4. He can try to attack. Black can try to attack. The position is uneven. Anyway, so in this position, e5. So he plays the move pawn to e5. Avoids knight g4, e5. In this position, there are many possibilities for him. For example, bishop e3 is a possibility. After bishop e3, simply castles, believe it or not, because bishop takes c5, b takes c5. Now you have got total control of the d4 square, and additionally you also got the b5. You can play d6 now. If knight d5 instantly, then bishop takes d5. If something like let's say f3, defending the pawn on e4, preparing the move bishop h3. A really important idea we see, bishop h3, because these pawns are blocking his bishop, so I'll play the move bishop h3. If f3, then simply rook b8 could be an idea, attacking this uh, indirectly. So something like if e d5, then d6, bishop h3. Here too we see this similar idea, getting control of this diagonal, because on this diagonal he has got nothing to do. These two squares are blocked, so bishop h3 is, now even f4 is a possibility. We're trying to open, but I think white will not let it, black will not let it so easily. ef4 is the main, the best move in this position. After rook f4, black can play the move queen f5, or even he can play the move rook to b8, attacking this pawn. And after queen defends this, now rook to e8. Now these both are really powerful. Two rooks in the open files, and I think black has a slight edge in this position because of this bishop on g2. This knight is superior to the bishop now. This knight wants to jump to e4. So f4 is also not a good idea. This total bishop e3 is not a good idea. Even rook b1, preparing the move pawn to b4 is also really annoying. Now a5 is the main move in this position, uh, controlling the b4 square. Now if the move pawn to a3 is played, then black can simply, I think, play the move queen to e7 in this position, stopping b4. So, and if h3 is the move he played, Aronian, in this position, just look at the position, pause the video and tell me who is better in this position. Seems like white is better. It's equal position, we can say. It's an equality. White has gained equality. Now castles, Atlantic castle, a3, preparing b4, a5. I'm sorry. Now a3, right. A5. In this position, stopping the move pawn to b4. Now knight a4. Really important idea. If the move knight to b5 is played in this position, trying to get to d6, I think bishop c6 is okay. Even still, if knight d6, then he can play something like queen b8. But after knight b5, take. It's okay. You can also try to attack now. White can attack h4, and black also has enough compensation. Rook d8 and d5 are coming. So, in this position, e5, h3, castles a3, a5, he played the move knight to a4. Hitting this bishop, now we see a very, very important idea. I was thinking in this position, uh, if queen defends this, guy on c5, I think knight c5, queen c5, bishop e3, queen c6, b4. Now we are allowing b4, a b4, d6. In this type of position, after rook d1, rook a1, rook a1, rook 8, bishop a8, f3. This type of position, this bishop is blocked, but black has permanent weakness on b6. Now outside passer, it's not possible, but still white has come to play with queen d2 and queen f2. Hitting this, now he can also jump into the a file. I think if something like this, then queen a3 is possible. Trying to attack this, and after bishop e7, queen a7 maybe. Okay, such type of things are possible. So he didn't play that. Aronian didn't play. Harikrshna didn't play queen e7. But instead, he played the move pawn to d6 in this position. This is also a very sensible move, because in this position, if for example the move knight into c5 is played, then white will not reply with the move b takes c5, which we all thought. He'll play the move d takes c5. D takes c5, a really important move. Now queen's exchange is compulsory, and after queens are exchanged, black will plan knight e8, knight c7, knight e6, and knight d4, which is invincible now. I think really black has a slight edge. Now knight e4 is a threat, so after f3, knight h5 is possible. Knight e8, bishop e3, knight c7 maybe, rook d1, knight e6. Such type of maneuvers are possible. So if queen c2, avoiding the queen's exchange, queen e7. He'll also avoid something like this. Now white has got nothing out of this position. I think black is slightly better in this position too. The knight will go very zigzag. So after a3, a5, knight a4, d6, rook d1, Harikrshna played the move bishop to c6, attacking the knight on a4. Now if the knight retreats, he is obviously planning to come to d5, But the bishop then takes on d5 and the queen cannot take because the knight, and you have to take with the pawn. I think then black would be better because his pawns are blockaded and we have a typical Sicilian type of structure. So he played the move knight takes c5, b takes c5, queen c2. Getting out of the way. If the queens are exchanged, I think a complete equality. This is complete equality. Even if he'll now knight, this is going something like takes h3 even there. Okay, now the rook can enter, but another rook will enter. I think if queens will be exchanged. Queen c2. So queen e7 getting the queen was attacked. Now a really interesting. I think bishop e3 is the best move in this position after rook d8, rook d8, rook d8, b4 is possible. Now b4 is possible really because after something like okay, let's say a b4, c b4, bishop b6, rook c8. Okay, so he plays this really b4 too. After a b4, c b4, he can get back the b6 pawn. The reason is that he'll try to promote the c pawn. It became pass pawn, but now ideas with bishop b5 are coming, and this is also pass pawn. A weakness. C4 pawn is also weak. So this could be one idea. Uh, this could be one idea after bishop e3. But instead Aronian played the move pawn to a4. I didn't understand what the idea of this move is, but after a4, you really give up the chance of playing the move pawn to b4. So now queen b7, uh, attacking this e4 pawn. Now if he'll play the move f3, then this bishop is dead. So he plays the move rook e1, h6, creating loop square for the king on h7. Loop squares are the squares which a king can escape. And bishop g5 is also not available. h6, now b3, uh, trying to target this guy. Main idea, and rook e8, very good prophylaxis. Some other ideas also come. For example, rook e6, which we see in the game, bishop b2, another rook comes. If in fact in this position after b3 rook 8, if something like rook at e1, the position will be equal. But Harikrshna tried for a very quick attack with the move pawn to h4, and this proved to be wrong. Rook to d7 was played in the game. Rook to d7 was played in the game. Trying to come here, rook d8, but I know it's really good. It's really a type of annoying. If bishop h3 in this position, then this rook comes maybe to d6, and now this pawn is hanging. Again, the bishop has to come back, or f3. So first f3 prophylaxis defending the pawn, but this move f3 really weakens g3 square. So knight h5. Now king f2, king f2 the only move because queen f2 is also possible. But now maybe there are chances of the rook entering. Something like this could happen. b3 is on quiz. Now king f2, rook d6. Main idea is to bring this rook to g6 to hit this. Now, actually, Aronian played the move rook at d1, which turned out to be the big mistake in the game. Bishop h3 is the possible line, I think the best move, because now if rook g6, he can counter with the move rook g1. Now, as the bishop is there on g2, after rook g6, there is no rook g1. So now Aronian is forced to play the move pawn to g4, giving up the f4 square. Excellent outpost, best outpost. Now h5 attacking the rook, rook f6, rook h1, queen c7. Now the queen is not really doing anything there, so just he plays this, and now we see another bigger rook by Aronian, rook d5. The queen c7 defends this, and rook d5. provoking to take, provoking Harikrshna to take this, and he does so. Bishop takes d5. Only more is c takes d5, because now if e takes d5, well, it's okay. It's really bad for him. The e5 is half open. e4 ideas with e4. C takes d5 has got this pass pawn, but now I'll give you 5 seconds time. Find out the best move for black in this position. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Best move is the move pawn to c4. Really excellent. If queen takes c4 in this position is played, then queen takes c4, pawn takes c4, and now knight to d3. Your bishop is lost. If pawn takes c4 is played in this position, then queen c5, and your game is lost totally. That's game finished almost. And if the move which Aronian played, bishop f1, is the best, I think. It's in the business, but even then, queen will come here. Now king to g3, the only move, and now excellent move, queen to e3. Idea of this move is he wants to play the move knight takes h5 and mate. This rook will also come now. So queen d1 defending f3. Now c3. If he wants, he can take this, but he's not interested. c3, excellent move. Now only move bishop c1, and I'll give you more 5 seconds time. Find out what is the good move for black in this position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The excellent move for black in this position is the move pawn to c2. Very dramatic move. Excellent move in this position, c2, because this is a tactic we see daily in our life. The tactic of deflection. If this, then we promote into a new queen. But if the move queen takes c2 is played in this position, then after queen takes e2, queen to e1 check. This queen leaves the e1 square. After king h2, queen h4 check. King g3, queen g3 check. King g1, queen g3. If queen g2 is only move, I think. To prolong mate, if bishop g2, then knight g2, queen g2, queen g2, king g2. Finished. Or, yeah, that's it. Knight g2, queen, bishop g2, queen g2, king g2. Now, I think, yeah, white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 6, 7. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But black is an exchanger. I think black will win it, but it would be a tough fight still. But he went for the move queen to d2. Well, this move, I don't like it. Now, excellent move, knight takes h5. Because if this, then f3 is lost. So, king to h2 gets out of the way. Queen takes d2. Simply, bishop takes d2. Now, excellent move. Rook takes f3. Because knight cannot be taken because of this. So now, what will you play? King g2 is played now. Attacking this as well as this. Now, what will you play? Excellent move. Rook g3 check now. And after the move king to g2, now knight to f6. Excellent move once again. King takes g3, knight takes e4, king g2, knight takes g2. He's got his exchange, but he's down these many pawns. And this pawn is going to promote. This white is clearly winning. Bishop d3. And the only hope for him is the move pawn to d6 in this position after knight b3, d7. Rook d8, bishop c2, knight c5, something like this. Rook d7. Now just count the material. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 1, 2. 6 pawns against 2 pawns, and who will win? Rook d4, something like this. Rook c4 attacking this guy. So in the game after bishop d3, rook c8. Yeah, now he resigned. Aronian resigned in this position. Okay, so I think a main mistake in this game is that h4 idea, but another additional mistake is wait in this position. Rook a d1, I think. Bishop h3 would have been better, as I mentioned earlier. Because now if rook g6, then probably rook g1, I think the position is still solid. And now, okay, it's equal. Maybe black is slightly better. Black is clearly better, maybe, but even then, white can come back into the game somehow. And now, fair more did he do a mistake. Knight a4, d6, rook d1, bishop c6 takes. Queen c2, queen e7, a4. Maybe yeah. I was mentioning the ideas with bishop e3, rook d8, rook d8, rook d8, b4. This would have been better, I think. A b4, bishop 6. So I think you enjoyed this video. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.